Oh, hey YouTubers, Muskrat Jim here. You caught me digging up a spot here for a garden that I'm planning on having next summer. I haven't had a garden in probably, getting pretty close to 20 years now. But anyway, I'm just going to start out with a small one, probably, I don't know, 20 feet long by maybe 10 feet wide. And first thing I have to do is till over the soil, remove some stumps and roots, and then next year it'll be ready for planting. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to use raised beds or just plant the garden the old-fashioned way, right on the ground. The reason why I was thinking about raised beds is because my growing season here is really quite short. It runs to about the end of May to middle September. So I really don't have a whole lot of time in there. So it's important for the ground to be warm. So with a raised bed, the ground gets warmer by the sun than if you had just a flat ground level garden. I've been at this for a little while and I think it's time to take a break. So let's go make a cup of coffee on the new stove that I bought. Okay, so let me show you my stove. So this is the stove. It's called the Magic Heat Magic Stove. I bought it at Canadian Tire for about $8. It comes with a canister of fuel. So basically the stove is this windscreen and this pot stand. It says on the box, everyday uses: camping, hunting, hiking, backpacking, boating, fishing, fondues, chafing dishes, picnics, parties, tailgate cookouts, power failures, natural disasters, emergency use. And it says that it's safer than gel fuels, and it's got an indefinite shelf life and longer burn times. This one canister will burn up to 6 hours, it says. So let's open it up and take a look inside. So there's the can of fuel. It is 7 fluid ounces, or 200 milliliters. And so that can will burn for up to 6 hours, apparently. And Canadian Tire, where I bought this stove, also sells these replacement cans of Magic Heat. And you can tell it's not a gel fuel, it's liquid. So when you open it up, you have to be careful not to spill it. And this would be the stove part. This is a windscreen. When you put it on this way, it's for packing, so it's quite compact. Flip it over, and it stops on a ridge there. Now these braces for the pot stand fit like this, I guess. And oh, I guess this one's got to go on first. There, and it's a pretty sturdy. Oh, I guess pushed too hard. I'm not going to put a 50-pound pot on there. So that's pretty sturdy right there, and it'll fit my pot quite well. Okay, so let's open it up and get it lit. Oh, I see. There's actually a wick there. So I don't know that you could spill it. It's a little bit wet on the top. But anyway, I guess you like the wick. Now I always carry a lighter in my EDC. Never lit one of these before. Oh yeah, it's lit. Just can't see the flame. Oh yeah. Just put the stove on top. Some water ready. I don't know if I said this before, but I've never used a stove before. So I don't know how long it's going to take to boil. But anyway, we'll let it go. I can hear it snapping every once in a while. I don't know what that means. But oh yeah, there's still heat coming off of that. Okay, so I'm going to cut the video and we'll come back once the water starts getting closer to a boil. Well, it's only been about 5 minutes and it's given off a good heat because that pot is really quite hot to touch. And I'm starting to get bubbles in the bottom. Now, when the fuel burns, it does give off a bit of a smell, so you wouldn't want to use this inside of a tent. So while we wait, we'll take a look at the box and read some more of the descriptions. Okay, so it says the fuel will not ignite if spilled. Well, that's good to know. And it also says great for fire restricted areas. Now, on the inside flap, it's got features and benefits. It says it's safe to use, the fuel will not ignite if spilled. Safe to hold, so that means the bottom's not going to get hot. And reuse, so basically you can snuff out the flame with the cap. It says it has an indefinite shelf life, that's good. Over here it says stove and heat source. Use as a cooking device, and reverse grill bars and use as a stable heating source. So I suppose you could use it as a heater. Now, the heater would be like in a tent or in some sort of a shelter, but you'd have to be extremely, extremely careful of using an open flame device inside a tent. And you'd also have to make sure that the tent is well ventilated. And it says it's compact and lightweight. You invert the stove over the can to compact, and I showed you that earlier before we lit it. You can probably hear the cicadas in the background. We get a lot of cicadas here in the summer. Well, let me show you the coffee that I'm going to be using today. I picked up this envelope of coffee at a hotel that I stayed at recently. Basically, it's like a tea bag, but it's a coffee bag. And so what I'm going to do is once the water gets hot enough, I'm just going to put the bag right into the pot and let it steep there. I like my coffee with 1 cream and 1 sugar, so sugar packet from the hotel and coffee mate from the hotel. Well, it's been about 10 minutes now. Let's take a peek. Okay, that steamed up my lens. Well, there's definitely steam coming off, and you might be able to see that there's some bubbles breaking the surface there. It's not a rolling boil yet, but I'm sure that within a minute or two, we'll probably get that. Well, I can hear it boiling now, and I can smell the coffee. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's getting darker now. I forgot to mention earlier that the coffee bag is a 1 serving bag. And I've got about 2 cups of water in this pot, so it's going to be a little bit watered down, I think. So what I'll do is I'll let it go a little bit longer. Try to coax more coffee bean oil out of that bag. Well, it's definitely been 20 minutes. maybe even 25. So what I'm going to do, oh yeah, that's dark enough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to extinguish this flame and have myself a cup of coffee. Now, although the box said that this was safe to handle with your hand, those stove pieces would be extremely hot. So you definitely have to wear a glove to extinguish the flame. Don't want that to fall and spill on me, so I'll just go like that. There we go. The pot cooled off a little bit and caused some suction, so I'm going to have to tease that lid off a little bit. There we go. A little bit of sugar. And some coffee. Well, I guess there wasn't 2 cups of water in there, probably a cup and a half. Oh yeah, that's good. So anyway, the Magic Stove, I think it's pretty good. It doesn't heat up nearly as fast as a propane stove would, but it's a lot more compact. And the canister, well, that's the canister there instead of having like a large propane cylinder. So I'm satisfied with this and confident that now I can go out into the woods when there's burn restrictions and still enjoy my coffee and the occasional meal. So I'm going to have this coffee and then I'm going to go back and continue tilling the dirt over where my garden's going to be next year. So this is Muskrat Jim, signing out.